Hi everyone, welcome to another video on Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade. Now in today's video I'll be doing a guide on the story event Homesick Horizon. Now this format of the event is gonna occur every single month, so it's good that you pay attention to how it works because this will be something you'll be doing quite frequently going forward. Basically there's only like 3 different types of event formats on this game and they just keep on repeating. Obviously, the story is different and the boss is different every single time, but the format is exactly the same. So whatever you hear from me today will also be the format you will see again in next month's version of this event, etc. Now, the way this type of format works is that basically you have some event quest where you will be okay. I can't do that, but basically there's like a normal quest which you can complete and then afterwards you can also then beat the hard version. Now the normal one you can beat them as many times as you want. The hard version you can only beat each stage 3 times per day. Now you can sweep them once you have actually them 3 star cleared, so you can just sweep them whatever. And basically the idea of doing all of those event quests is so that you are able to collect this residual of curse energy. And once you have collected those residual of curse energy, what you would then go is go into this formidable battle, trying to actually win against those bosses. And when you do actually win, you would then be able to collect those tokens. And basically, when you actually beat those boss and collect those tokens, what you can then do is you can then exchange the tokens. So basically, just think of it like a couple steps, right? And you can exchange those tokens for rewards, etc. So basically, the order you want to do is do event quests first to get those residual energy, then go on to here to battle the boss, and then go on here to exchange for your rewards. Now, even the reward that you can get some really nice rewards. The way it works is that basically there are different prize pools. Once you get the highest level of the prize pool, you actually do have the option to reset the reward and go straight onto the next one. Now, depending on your how strong you are, whether you can actually beat the boss or not, you may want to skip some of the early ones, but I highly recommend kind of going from uh I would say number 3, prize pool number 3 and onwards. I recommend you do not skip any rewards at all, because even though you may have already collected the highest level rewards, you still get some really decent rewards here. Like for example, this impure crystal. This one is actually pretty rare for you to get, and you need it a lot in order to level up your character skills. And you can see you can get 5 of them. So even let's say if you get very lucky and actually pull the ultimate prize on the first summon, you are still I would still highly recommend just keep on going through until you can get collect all of the other rewards, etc. Now, this is basically gonna be my suggestion if you are actually able to beat, I would say, the very hard version of it comfortably. Or maybe if you can beat it in, let's say, in 2 tries, then at least you are able to just spend stamina and try to collect all of those rewards. Now, if you are not even able to do that, hopefully everyone's able to. That's kind of why I'm creating this guide today. But if you're not able to do that, then maybe you actually have to go a bit more programmatic here. When you're actually exchanging for the rewards, you may want to skip through and just reset the prize pool as soon as you okay, maybe you can skip the first 3. I think from number 4 onwards, I highly recommend you at least try to go through it so that you can collect all of this piece of recollection. Basically this can be used in order to actually dupe out your recollection in the future, so you definitely want to collect all of those if you can. And then for number 5, you definitely want to make sure you can at least get phantom medal. This will be exchanged for actual SSR characters in the future, like Mahito, Hanami, etc. Jogo as well, you can exchange them with this, so you definitely want to collect as many of that, and obviously like the recollection. So I think like from prize pool number 4, 5, etc. onwards, you want to not only make sure you get the highest reward, but also those somewhat more unique ones that you cannot get anywhere else. Okay, so that's going to be my recommendation if you're somewhat weaker and not able to finish this event completely. Now, that's basically how this event works. Now, when you're actually collecting those tokens in order to exchange, you actually also see there's something like event bonus, and that's basically saying when you bring certain characters or certain recollections, you are gonna get more rewards when you actually beat the bosses, and those are very good. I mean, that's kind of why there is right now the summons, the banner for Yuji and also this recollection is because so that you can actually get some buff when you actually go into the event. This one, however, you actually get one copy when you finish the event quest, and then you can actually dupe it out by going through the prize pool. So basically, what you can see is that for the first 5 prize pools, the ultimate reward is always going to be a dupe of this recollection. So basically what you actually want to do is that as soon as you finish the event quest, equip one of them before you go into battle, and as soon as you manage to beat the boss one time, you don't want to go into here, exchange or try your luck to see whether you can pull this, and as soon as you get a copy, just dupe it out immediately, and then it go back into the battle. And now because you have this recollection duped out, what you then see here is you have a bonus. So right now I have it completely maxed out at dupe 5. You don't need to level up, just dupe it, and right now it's at dupe 5, and I can get a 30% extra bonus whenever I finish the battle. So that's very nice. So that's something you definitely want to do. The earlier you do this, obviously the more you're going to get every single time you beat the boss. So it's always better to do it earlier than later. Okay, now in terms of the actual event bosses, you can see they all cost the same amount of curse energy. However, obviously you get better reward when you beat the harder version. Now there is also the special version. However, this one you only get 1 extra chance per day. So right now it has been I think they must give you an extra chance at the start, because right now it's only on day 3, but for whatever reason it says like there are 4 available times. But basically the point I'm trying to make here is that you can't just farm this unlimited number of times, because this is actually capped to the event duration. Obviously tomorrow when the day resets, I would then have 1 extra chance to try this again, but basically that's the way it is. So vast majority of the time you will only be farming very hard. Now if you take a look at the incremental value of each stage, what you can see here for very hard, I can get a guaranteed drop of 100. So basically the way it works is that every single time when you battle it, you get 100, and then if you can actually beat it, then I would get another 140. So basically if you can beat this in one go, I will be able to get 240. Okay, however, at least 240. Whereas for the hard version, if I just attack this boss, even if I don't clear it, basically what's gonna happen is the HP will be retained. So the next time, let's say you only took down 70% of the boss HP in one go, then the next time you can just finish off the last 30% HP. And if that's the case, then what's gonna happen is you're gonna get this 40 reward twice because you attacked the boss twice. However, you only gonna get this 56 once because basically you have only managed to kill the boss once. Now, if you actually do a bit of simple math just to see whether it's worth trying to finish an easier stage in one go or trying to finish a hard stage in multiple goes, basically I already done that calculation. But basically, let's say if you take you 2 turns to beat this very hard, or 2 times to beat this very hard, what the total reward you're gonna get is 2 times 100 plus 140, so that's 340. Whereas if you for those same 2 tries you just actually beat this, you only get 96 times 2, which is less than 340. And basically my point here is that if you're able to beat any stage in just 2 attempts, you are always going to be better off trying the harder stages. If you are requiring at least 3 times to beat it, then you kind of break out even, because there's very like a randomness here. So if you're only able to do it in 3 tries, then it's up to you whether you want to do the harder version or do the easier version. However, if it takes more than 3 times, then definitely just keep on using the easier version of the stage, or whatever stage that you're actually able to clear comfortably without in one go. So that's going to basically be my recommendation in terms of which stage to try. Now, in terms of actually what you want to do, basically for the boss battle, they're always weak against green. So if you do have any green units, such as Yuji, who's featured as well, then obviously try to use Yuji. Now, the team I'm going to show you, I would probably do a battle with you guys right now. I have only used 1 green character, which is Nakamura, and that's my backup. Vast majority of the time, well, it depends. Sometimes Nakamura is still going to be needed, depending on whether I was lucky or unlucky with the crit on Gojo. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that a green character is not compulsory. Obviously, it's nice to have because you are able to do a bit higher damage. But if you do not have any green characters, then don't worry too much about it. Now the team setup you'll see here is very much my standard team setup. I do have this recollection for the bonus, and in terms of the DPS recollection, I decided to put this one on rather than this one. Even though it's lower level, this recollection is just really good because it can be used for 2 turns with a 5 turn cooldown, and basically because Gojo can be on the field for 7 turns, that basically means is that you can actually activate this 2 times. And the other thing I will also tell you guys is that because this only applies to curse technique, if you do not use any curse technique, this buff is actually going to stay on you, which is actually very nice because you can actually stack this buff as well. I will show you in the actual gameplay itself. But basically, this is the one I use, and also this one is the one you can get for free in the Formidable Battle if, content as well. So if you actually try Formidable Battle, this one here, you can actually get a free version of them, and you can also dupe it out, etc. I already created a video guide on how to beat this, so if you need any help on that, then just go out and check out my channel to see how you actually clear this event. But now let's go back to this event quest, and I will show you the actual battle. Okay, so the tactic that I use is always the same one, pretty much. It's always continuous stacking buff with a combination of the first 3 characters that you see here. What you're going to do is just going to buff, increase curse energy for everyone so that you can continue to stack up your buff on your 2 supporters. For Gojo, because I already mentioned, this is only going to be used when you actually use a curse technique. If you actually take a look at Gojo's attack, this is actually the only curse technique. This is actually a physical technique. You can see here, physical technique. And then this is a buff, so it's not any type of technique. So what you can actually do is you can use this and then you just keep buffing yourself. And this way, even though I have used my recollection this turn, it's not actually going to count towards anything because I haven't actually attacked yet. So the buff is always going to stay on. And then in the second turn, I can then switch to this melee attack or physical attack because once again, it's not a curse energy, so I'm able to preserve this buff. So let me try this for the second turn. On the supporter, it still do the same buffing every single time, by the way. Okay, here. I'm gonna top up my HP a bit because I can see Nanami is a bit low. If you do not have this recollection, you can obviously level up your character so they can actually tank a bit more, or use a different recollection for tanking purpose, etc. There is, for example, that free SSR recollection which allows you to heal, so you can use that one instead. And then for Gojo, I will still be using this physical attack this turn. But let me just quickly show you the buff on Gojo to let you know the recollection buff was stacking. Basically, you can see here, right? Curse technique increase. This is the one from the recollection. Increase curse technique by 55%. This is still on because I haven't actually used any curse technique. And that's basically why this recollection is actually really good on characters such as Gojo, who have both a physical attack and also a cursed technique attack. Okay, now on turn 4, this is where you want to go a bit more strategic. I am actually going to stop attacking the enemy anymore. I'm actually going to go back into buffing myself. And the reason for this is that in 2 more turns, I'll be able to activate my recollection again, and at that point my ultimate will be ready. So I want to prepare myself for the maximum amount of damage that I can deal out when I use my ultimate attack. And if you actually take a look at the buff Gojo have, it's able to buff himself for 3 turns. So basically that means on turn 4 I can already start using this, so that by the time of when I actually use my ultimate, this will be on. And remember, all buffs stack in this game, so not just on turn 4 but on turn 5 as well. I will both turns be buffing myself on my Gojo. So turn 5, I'm gonna buff again. Here you may need to get slightly lucky with the boss depending on which character the boss end up hitting. Oh, I managed to survive just barely though. So you may need some luck or just make sure your character is sufficiently high level. My Yaga is level 50, but it's a +1 dupe, so there's a bit of extra stats bonus there, which definitely helped, obviously. Okay, now this is turn 6, and you can see my ultimate's ready. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this buff on Recollection on my Kaito, and obviously also using his ultimate, which is able to also apply a buff for the whole team. And it's a curse technique increase, which is exactly what Gojo's ultimate gonna be. Gojo obviously is gonna use his ultimate, which is a curse technique, and at the same time I'm gonna use this Recollection as well. And this is gonna buff up him again. And if you just take a look at how much buff my Gojo have right now, is all of the buff that have been stacking from Yaga, from Nanami, from himself, and also from Recollection. And this is gonna be the reason, even though right now it's already 10-6 and the boss still have loads of HP, I'm not worried at all because this is gonna wipe out a huge chunk of the enemy HP. Okay, let's see how much this does. See, huge chunk. It wasn't even a crit, and it managed to literally took out like, I don't know, 80% of the enemy boss HP in one go. So that's basically how crazy it is. All right, and then last turn I will be doing this. Let me buff up the team slightly, and then I will now be using the curse technique because there's no need. Gojo is gonna disappear next turn, so there's no need for me to preserve my buff. I will just use everything. And if you take a look at the buff available, what you will see is I should still have increased curse technique by 50% one time. So that's from my first time of using Recollection. And then there should be another curse technique increased by 55%. Yeah, this one here. And that's when I use it the second time, I assume. So basically you still have those two times, so might as well use it to buff up your skill 1 hit, which is what I'm doing. I don't think I can actually kill the boss unless I'll get lucky with a crit, but let's see. Oh, I did manage to kill it, and it wasn't crit. So you can see both my ultimate and my skill 1 didn't crit, and I still managed to kill the boss. So this is basically an easy way of how you can beat this event boss.